Democrats and Republicans need to put aside the back and forth and take care of business as the branch of government that holds responsibility for Social Security. That's not my line. That was Representative Larson speaking on the House floor just yesterday, and I'll play that full clip for you here so you can hear exactly what he had to say. You're definitely going to want to stick around for that because it's pretty eye-opening. And beyond that, we also need to talk about the big news. Social Security recipients could be seeing a one-time $1,600 payment. Yes, you heard me right. This check would be only for people who collect Social Security, not for the general public, not for every household, just for beneficiaries. I'll walk you through the latest update on that. Plus, I've got a few other important Social Security developments you'll want to know about. Oh, and before I dive in too deep here, if you appreciate these Social Security updates and want to stay informed on everything coming down the pipeline, do me a favor, tap that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss future updates. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. This $1,600 one-time payment aimed solely at Social Security recipients, nobody else, is one of the hot topics right now, and I'll lay out all the details for you in just a second. But first, let's listen to what Representative Larson said yesterday about Social Security while standing on the House floor. So here's the clip. Larson said he's on the floor not just to talk about the ongoing benefit situation, but also to address something even bigger. He said, "We have a resolution of inquiry to bring out information from a whistleblower who's sounded the alarm about what's happening with the over 300 million Americans whose information is tied into Social Security. This affects every single congressional district in the country. Madam Speaker, you have 163,000 Social Security recipients. I urge both Democrats and Republicans to stand together as the branch of government responsible for Social Security and make sure these individuals answer for what they've done." Then Larson yielded the remainder of his time. So, what do you think about that? Lately, Representative Larson has been laser-focused on Social Security data security, a lot less on expanding benefits or improving payouts, like he used to push hard for a few years back. Honestly, I kind of wish he would bring more attention back to things like COLA increases and expanded monthly benefits. But right now, it seems the spotlight is more on data vulnerabilities and how outside groups may be handling Social Security information. Do you think Larson should be doubling down on accountability for the data breach issues, or would you prefer to see him pushing for higher checks and better benefit structures? Drop your thoughts down below, because I'd really like to hear where you stand on that. Now let's shift over to the latest headlines. One of the big ones right now is that a senior advocacy group is calling for a $1,600 catch-up payment for Social Security beneficiaries, especially in light of inflation and the eroded purchasing power of benefits over the past decade and a half. And then there's the other headline. The projected COLA increase for 2026 is looking like just 2.7%. That's almost nothing. Seriously, what can anybody do with that? It feels more like a slap in the face than an increase. That's why advocates are pushing so hard for this $1,600 payment as a one-time supplemental boost. Here's where things stand on that. The Senior Citizens League, which has been very vocal about the financial strain older Americans are under, is officially petitioning Congress for this one-time payment. The figure they landed on $1,600 is their way of trying to offset some of the decline seniors have experienced. And here's some context. Since 2010, the purchasing power of Social Security benefits has dropped by nearly 20%. Think about that for a second. A retiree in 2010 had a check that stretched a lot further than the same check today, and the league actually ran the math. To truly undo all the losses since 2010, beneficiaries would need a permanent $4,440 boost every single year. That's what it would take to fully restore purchasing power. But Congress hasn't delivered anything close to that. So this $1,600 is their compromise. It's not everything, but at least it's something to help make up the gap. And you know this already if you're on Social Security. Every time there's a COLA adjustment, it's usually so small that it gets wiped out almost immediately by Medicare Part B premiums or rising costs elsewhere. It's frustrating. The Senior Citizens League is basically saying, we know $1,600 doesn't solve everything, but it can at least provide a cushion right now. Executive Director Shannon Benton put it plainly, the data proves what seniors have been telling us for years. Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation. This proposal, she said, is one way to at least address the loss in buying power since 2010. But she also made it clear more action will be needed beyond just this. The problem right now is that no major lawmaker is fully championing this $1,600 proposal yet. Nobody's stepped up with an actual bill. There is support for broader reforms, though. For instance, the group is also pushing Congress to adopt a better inflation index for seniors. The current system, CPIW, is based on wage earners, not retirees. It doesn't capture how seniors actually spend money. Healthcare costs, prescription drugs, housing, energy, these weigh more heavily on seniors than the general population. That's why there's a push for CPI, a consumer price index for the elderly, which would more accurately reflect the expenses seniors face. Bernie Sanders has been one of the strongest voices pushing for this change. He's got his Social Security Expansion Act, and Representative Larson has his Social Security 2100 Act. Both of those bills would deliver stronger across-the-board benefit increases and also switch from CPIW to CPI. That alone would mean bigger annual COLA adjustments moving forward. The data gets even more concerning when you look at poverty rates. Benton highlighted that over 7.5 million seniors are living on $1,000 a month or less. That's below the poverty line, and it's a stark reality that hasn't improved. In fact, even though the overall U.S. poverty rate has dipped in recent years, the poverty rate among older Americans has been climbing. That's why so many advocates say reform. Depending on when your specific payment date falls, you might see it the second or third week of the month, but the bottom line is that increase won't feel like much when it finally lands. Which brings us back to the $1,600 payment. Will it really happen? Here's the truth. At this point, it's just a proposal. It's not written into any legislation. Nobody has filed a bill. There's no committee hearing scheduled on it. It's simply an idea that advocacy groups are floating, hoping lawmakers will take it up. And as much as I want to say it's guaranteed, the reality is the chances aren't great. But here's the good news. Even if this specific proposal doesn't gain traction, the fact that it's being talked about at all pushes the conversation forward. It puts pressure on lawmakers to address the reality that benefits aren't keeping up with inflation and seniors are falling behind. So that's where things stand right now. Representative Larson is focused on accountability with Social Security data. The Senior Citizens League is pushing hard for a $1,600 one-time check. The COLA projection for 2026 is a very disappointing 2.7%, and lawmakers like Sanders and Larson are still trying to move their bills through to expand benefits in a more meaningful way. I'll keep tracking all of it for you because I know how much this matters. And if you found it helpful that I pulled together the facts, shared Larson's clip, and broke down what's real and what's just being discussed, please go ahead and hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any future Social Security updates. That's the full picture for today. I hope this brought some clarity. I hope it lightened your day a bit, and I'll catch you again soon with the latest updates. Until then, take care, stay safe, and thank you so much for watching.